Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. For those who don't know me, my name is Maya and this is my daughter Camille. She's a little under the weather right now because she is teething, so she's been a little whiny lately, so she might be a little cranky throughout the video, so please excuse her. She's going through a lot right now, okay? But anyways, today we're going to be talking about my labor and delivery story, and girl, it's a good one. So Camille was due May 10th, 2018, and come May 1st, I go to work, and I had a friend who was also pregnant. She worked with me, and our due dates were 6 days apart. So I was due on the 10th, she was due on the 16th. And so she kept saying, like, I'm gonna have my baby on my birthday, which was May 3rd. And she, predicted her first daughter's birthday, and she was right. So she kept saying, like, I'm going to be induced on my birthday, I'm going to have my baby on my birthday. I'm like, well, no. If you have your baby on your birthday, I'm having my baby on your birthday too. And, we were just joking around. We were doing that throughout the pregnancy. And so May 1st comes, and that was a Tuesday. And we were working. And, we got off of work the next day. I'm at my best friend's house. I go to my best friend's house, and, it's early in the day, early in, the year still. And it's, like, super duper hot. And I'm sweating. I'm sweating underneath my stomach. I'm sweating, underneath my boobs, because my boobs got huge throughout my pregnancy. And, my friend's like, no, it's too early in the year to turn the air on. Bitch, it was too hot to not have the air on. And so I'm like, no, I can't do this. I don't want to be pregnant anymore. Then my friend from work calls me. She's like, yep, I told you they're inducing me. I have my baby on my birthday. Keep in mind, this is May 2nd. This is Wednesday, our day off, May 2nd. So I'm like, I'm having my baby today too. Because I wasn't trying to go to work the next day. I wasn't trying to go to work if she wasn't going to be there. 2, I was hot. It was so hot. I was sweating, and I couldn't do it anymore. 3, my body was still really small. My stomach was just big, so my back was always hurting. And it was so uncomfortable. And I was just ready. Like, she was only... Oh, it stinks. She was due only 7 days and 8 days. And so I'm like, okay. Keep in mind, the night before, well, no, not the night before. A few nights before, I had started taking the evening primrose oil pills, because those are supposed to, like, help induce labor. And the night before, I had taken one of the pills, and I guess you're supposed to put it up, inside yourself, because that's supposed to soften your cervix. And so that Wednesday, the next day, I had my doctor's appointment, and when I went to my doctor's appointment, I was already 3 centimeters dilated. I'm like, cool, we're getting somewhere. And then also, I don't remember how faced I was, but I was close. And so I'm like, okay, cool, so it's hot, I don't want to be pregnant no more, I'm already dilated, we about to have a baby today. And so I took my car. I had my car seat in the car already, girl. And I took my car to the car wash. And, I cleaned my car out, vacuumed it out real good in case I was, preparing for my baby to be coming home. And we went to Target. And I walked around Target, just looking at everything. I think I got some, like, baby hats or something, maybe. I don't know. I got something that like one of those last minute things that I knew I needed still. And then we went to the store next door. It was PetSmart or Petco. I don't remember which one. And we walked around, looked at the animals, and we walked around. And then I went to the park closest to my best friend's house. And I had my best friend, well, my 2 best friends at the time, and then my sister and her daughter come to the park with me, and we literally walked around the trail for hours. And when I say hours, I walked for hours because I was, like, literally trying to have my baby. And we just walked, and I was having contractions all day. Keep that in mind. I wasn't just like, yeah, I'm having my baby today. Like, I was already having contractions in the morning. I just didn't know it was gonna be like, you know, that soon. And so I'm like walking, and I walk and I get a contraction. I like bend over in pain, and so everybody's like, you okay? You want to sit down? I'm like, no, we're having this baby today. And so while I was having contractions and I'm walking, the contractions start coming more and more frequently. And so it's like I'm walking, contraction, I'm bending over. And I walk a little bit more, contractions, I'm bending over. You know, there's guys at the park like trying to talk to my best friends and stuff, and you know, I'm like over here in pain, and we're all laughing because some guy asked for my number, and I'm like literally going into labor. And so I'm walking around, everybody's like, do you want to stop? I'm like, no, I don't want the contractions to stop. Like, no, I'm having my baby today. And so we keep walking, and then I'm like, yeah, you guys, I need to go to the hospital, I'm in labor. And my sister, keep in mind she has a kid, she's like, you're not in labor, you're too calm. I'm like, girl, no, I'm in labor. So she doesn't believe me. I call my mom. I'm on the phone with my mom. I'm like, Mom, can you grab my hospital bag? That's the one thing I didn't have prepared with me. It was packed up, but I didn't have it with me because I wasn't expecting to go to labor. I was at my best friend's house. And so, what's wrong, Mommy? So she's like, are you in labor? I'm like, yeah, I'm in labor. She's like, Maya, you sound, you know, a little too calm to be in labor. I'm like, can you just grab my hospital bag and can you grab my panties? And I had just brought like a pack of, like, I don't remember what kind it was, like a pack of underwear from Walmart, because I was like, I don't want to ruin my good underwear. So I bought a pack of underwear from Walmart and I left them on the bed. And so I'm like, Mom, did you grab my underwear? She's like, yeah, I grabbed them out the drawer. I'm like, wait, no, wait, go back in the house, put those back. We're not taking Victoria's Secret panties to the hospital. There's a pack of panties on the bed. And she stops and she's like, Maya, if you were in labor, you would not be this calm, you would not be worried about what underwear you have. I'm like, Mom, can you just get the underwear and come? So she gets the underwear, she comes. And so she came with my dad, and they my dad ended up going back home with my brothers. My mom gets into my car and she drives me in my car. So we're on the freeway and I'm like having contractions, and I'm like, I'm not screaming or anything, I'm just like breathing and trying to control my breathing because I like was reading, and I was like watching lots of YouTube videos on like controlling your breathing and, you know, controlling your thoughts to make like an easy labor. And so that's exactly what I was trying to do. So she's like, okay, maybe you are in labor, but you're like so calm. I'm like, well, I don't want to freak out because that's not gonna help me any. So I get to the hospital, and keep in mind, girl, I'm geeked at this point because my contractions are like, I waited to call my mom until like when my doctor said you're in labor, it's like you have contractions that are 1 minute in duration, 5 minutes apart at least, for an hour. And I was having like exactly that, and I'm like, yes, I'm having my baby today. And so I go into the hospital. I go up to the desk, and they're like, okay, hey hon, what are we seeing you for? I'm just like, I'm in labor. And they're looking at me like, you're pretty calm to be in labor. I'm like, somebody else tells me I'm too calm to be in labor, I'm gonna flip my wig. And so like they're like, okay, let's get you checked in. So they get my, you know, information, my weight and stuff like that, and then they put me in a wheelchair and they take me up the stairs, up the elevator, I mean, and they put me in triage, and the lady puts like the little things around your waist to monitor the baby's heartbeat and your contractions. And so I mean, I think it's the baby's heartbeat or their movement or something, and your contractions. And so they're monitoring me for like an hour, asking me questions, and after about an hour, they're like, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and admit you, we're gonna keep you, you're in labor. I look at my mom and I give her the biggest I told you so face, and she's like, you're just so calm. Like, I've never seen somebody so calm. But for me, it's just, I didn't want to freak out. I just wanted to enjoy the experience. Yes, I was in pain, but I don't know, like, I was just trying to control my thoughts and control my, you know, I went into this thinking I was going to go with no epidural, so I was, like, trying to control my breathing, control my thoughts. Keep in mind, I've never even had period cramps before I had my daughter, so I didn't really know what I was getting myself into with that one. So I get into the room, my room that I'm going to be delivering in, and I meet my nurse, and she was so nice. Her name was Shannon. She was so freaking nice. And so we're just talking, and she asked if I was, you know, planning on getting an epidural, and I told her no. And so she was just telling me, like, okay, you can definitely do it. You know, I'm here to give you what you want. So if you want the epidural, you can, of course, get it still. But if you don't have to get it. And so I'm like, okay, cool. And she was like, if you do decide that you want it, just let me know, and we can, you know, get the anesthesiologist in here. So I'm like, okay. And she just was giving me lots of advice, and she was telling me that, you know, one of the best things you can do when you don't want an epidural is to find something to focus on during your contractions. And there was like a little cross on the wall, and I was like focusing on that during my contractions, and I was doing great. Those contractions start hitting like something terrible, and I'm just like, I don't know if I can take this. So I'm asking my mom, like, can you call, you know, my child's father? And she calls him. She's on the phone with them, and she's like, hey, you know, Maya's in labor. And he was kind of like quiet, like it was on speakerphone. He just got quiet, and he was like, I'm gonna call my mom. And he hung up. So I'm just like, okay. And so I'm waiting, and I text all my friends, and I was so excited. I was so geeked. I was just ready to meet my child. And that's one thing that I tell everyone. Is that, you know, a lot of people ask me how I got over the fear of being in labor, and I was never afraid of going into labor. I was never afraid of delivering my child, because I was just so anxious to meet her. And so my friends ended up coming to the hospital, and, you know, they were in the room. They snuck back because I was only supposed to have 3 people in at a time. And my child's father showed up, and we weren't really on the best of terms prior to this. So it was kind of like awkward, because we really weren't speaking much throughout my pregnancy. So when he was sitting in there, and my friend was in there, and my friend and him didn't really like each other, and we weren't on the best of terms. So it was like quiet, and I busted out laughing because I couldn't help it, y'all. And at this time, I had got my epidural already because I couldn't take it anymore. So I'm feeling good, feeling great, and I'm laughing. And it gets kind of late, and so he ended up going out to his car because he was falling asleep, and he was like uncomfortable in the chairs and stuff. My mom had like the big chairs. So my friends came back, and he ended up coming back again. We're all sitting there. Everybody had snuck in. There was like way too many people in there. And I started hearing like these little like popping sounds, and I'm like so confused. I'm looking around like trying to figure out what that sound was, and it's like little gusts of air. And so I'm like, what is that sound? Bitch, if they did not look at me and be like, that's you. I'm like, what do you mean that's me? And my child's father goes like, you've been farting for like an hour. And it's like little tiny farts, like you could barely hear them, but you could hear them. I did not know I was farting, passing gas. I didn't know for the longest that was me. Like, I'm looking around trying to figure out what that sound is, and it's me the whole time. It was stinky. And so I was so embarrassed. Y'all. And then as it's getting later and later, my friends, you know, decided to leave because, you know, they have school, they have things to do. And so my nurse tells me, like, I need to get some sleep. And I tried, and I just kept getting distracted. So everybody left, except for my mom and my brother. My brother is sleeping on the floor. My mom's in the chair, and I go to sleep. And I wake up because, like, I felt like this pain in my legs. Like, it was like a numb pain because, of course, I had my epidural. But the pain, like, it was like, I don't know. It wasn't like terrible, it wasn't bad, but like I could feel it. And you know, with the epidural at first, I'm not feeling anything in my legs, so I'm just like, why am I feeling my legs? So I called the nurse and I'm just like, I can feel my legs. And keep in mind, they're checking me every like hour and a half or something like that. They're coming and checking how dilated I am and stuff like that. And they're moving me in different positions and stuff. And so after I woke up, I call her, I'm like, I can feel my legs. She's like, okay, it's about time for me to check you anyway, so I'll be in just a second. So she's like, okay. I'm like, okay. And so she comes in. Oh no, before she comes in, I'm like feeling my legs because it's like numb and it's tingly, kind of like when your foot falls asleep. And I'm feeling, and my legs were like soaking wet. So I'm like, I also said to her, like, I think my water broke, because my water hadn't broken yet. She's like, okay, here I come. And she comes in and checks me. She's like, yeah, your water definitely broke and you're about 9 centimeters, so you're about to start pushing. I'm like, okay, I'm ready. So I call my child's father, who was downstairs sleeping in his car, I think. And so then he comes up, and you know, we just wait a little bit. We're waiting for the doctor to come in. And so she's like, do you want to start pushing? I'm like, okay. And the doctor hadn't gotten there yet, so I'm like, okay. And I start pushing, and they're like guiding me through it. I'm pushing or whatever, and you know, nothing's really happening yet. And I'm pushing, and you start to see a little bit of her head. So I'm like getting excited, y'all. I'm getting geeked, like I'm this close to meeting my child. Like I can see her, I can feel her. And they tell me, wait. Like they tell me to wait and to stop pushing. I'm like, what do you mean stop pushing? Like, your body's ready to push. Like your baby's coming. What do you mean? And they're saying like I have to wait for the doctor. I'm like, why did you guys have me start pushing in the first place? Because I can't stop now. And so the doctor comes in, and I'm trying to like hold her in, but it's like my body's like not. My body was telling me no. My body was telling me hell no. And so I'm waiting. She's getting out like all her tools, putting her gloves, whatever she was putting on. And she gets down and she's like, all right, we're about to have a baby or whatever. My mom's on the phone screaming on the phone with her sister, and that's another story. And so they ended up hanging up, and I'm pushing, and I'm like seeing her because I'm watching in the mirror above me, which was really cool. It's such a beautiful experience. And it didn't take me long to push her out. It took me maybe like 15 minutes at the most to push her out. And I don't even think it took that long. And so once she was out, they just like put her right on me. And I was like looking at her like, yes, that's your child, but it's just like she looked so like pale and bloody. And yes, I wanted to hold her, but when I touched her, it was just, I didn't expect it. Like, I didn't expect it. So I'm like holding her, and they're like, okay, we can wipe her off now. I'm like, cool. So they wipe her off, and they gave her like a shot and some, you know, stuff in their eyes to prevent infection or something like that. I don't know. And then they give her back to me, and I'm holding her, and it's like the most surreal thing I've ever experienced in my life. Like, it was such a beautiful experience. And I remember them telling me like, oh, she's hungry, go ahead and feed her. And you know, they knew I was planning on breastfeeding her. Girl, I looked at them like, what you mean feed her? I don't know how. Like, I don't know how. Like, what am I supposed to do? I had never taken any classes or anything like that on breastfeeding or anything like that, so I'm just like confused. So they helped me out, and I can honestly say that breastfeeding my child for the first time didn't feel the way I thought it would emotionally, because although it is your child, yes, it is your child, they're a stranger to you, kind of, if that makes any sense to anyone. Like, they don't know you and you don't know them, and I'm breastfeeding her, which is, you know, a beautiful thing, but it just felt so awkward to me, and it felt so like unnatural to me because I wasn't prepared, I guess. And it was like like she's a stranger. You haven't, gotten to know each other yet. So it's kind of like I felt weird about it, maybe like the first couple of minutes, but then just watching her and just seeing her, it was just so beautiful. And she was just so like small and fragile looking, and I just wanted to like bless you, mommy. I just wanted to, hug her, and I didn't want to give her up. And I was so happy because the doctors were insisting on, we agreed upon uninterrupted skin-to-skin contact after she was born for an hour. And so nobody could hold her but me. And it was just a great bonding time. And it was just great because you got to know each other, and, just looking at her and just holding her, and just, it was just so beautiful. It's the most beautiful experience I've ever felt in my life. And it's really true when your parents say, like, there's no love like a parent's love. Like, you won't know love like that until you have your own child. And that's completely true, because before I had Camille, I've never loved someone, as much as I love her. I've never loved another person more than I love myself. And, having a child has made me so selfless and made me so, I just never been able to care for another human being like I care for her. And it's, like I said, it's like a beautiful experience. It's something I've never, experienced before having her. But after she was born, her dad got the chance to hold her, and it was so great. And the 2 days that followed me having her were so wonderful, and I was so fortunate that even though we weren't on the best of terms prior to this, my child's father and I, we spent the duration of our stay in the hospital together. He didn't really leave my side at all, and he was so helpful. And, like my water cup was never empty. I always had cranberry juice. We were ordering food to the room like 24/7, and it was great. And I'm very fortunate to have him there with me, and that I didn't have to be alone like I thought I would. And we were in there like having a great time, so it was pretty fun. But I can honestly say, after I had my baby, I wasn't hungry. Like, a lot of people said, like, they had their children and they were like,
and I'm like, where's the pizza?
I want to order food. And I was just like thirsty, like so thirsty after I had her. Like, I drank like the mugs that you get from the hospital. Like, you know what I'm talking about, the cups. Everybody want a cup from the hospital when you go. But that cup, he filled it up with water for me like 3 times. Like, not even like in like 40 minutes. I drank 3 cups of water, and then like 4 of the little cups that you get, like kind of like the ones from school, of cranberry juice, because I was like so thirsty. Like, after I had her, I was thirsty. I was like shaking. I was so cold. And so I just drank so much water and cranberry juice. And yeah, like I said, it was such a great experience. I was very fortunate to have an easy labor, but I was so sad because my nurse Shannon that was there, she was so amazing. She was so helpful. She was so nice, and she left for her shift to be over at 7 in the morning, and I had my daughter at 7:29. So I had her 30 minutes after she left, and I was so sad because I wanted her to meet her. But yeah, this is the love of my life. My baby is honestly the love of my life. I never thought I would love being a mother so much. I knew I always wanted to be a mom, but being Camille's mom is like the best thing that's ever happened to me. And she's a little fussy right now, but she has made my life so much better, and she's changed me for the best, because she's made me into such a better person, and she's just shown me how to care for someone else unconditionally and love someone else unconditionally. And I do believe that God gave her to me at the perfect time, because he gave me her when I needed her the most. And I feel like I needed her way more than she needs me sometimes. And I'm just so fortunate and so blessed, and I thank God every day for her, and, you know, for giving me the ability to care for her, you know, and to take care of her. And it's been the best experience of my life. And I know that I'll always do my best to be the best mom that I can possibly be to her, and, you know, guide her and raise her up to be the best person she could possibly be, the best Camille she can be. And yeah, thank you guys for watching my video. If you liked it, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And like I said, I'm going to get better at vlogging, because the last one wasn't that consistent. I wasn't that consistent over the weekend. But be on the lookout, because I'll be making videos. I'm going to do my best to stay on a schedule. So my videos will be posted on Mondays and Fridays. Hopefully I can stick to that. If not, I'll go let you guys know what the new plan will be. But thank you again for watching my video. I love you guys. And like I said, hit that like button, comment, and subscribe. And we'll be back with more videos.
Round and round we go, losing self-control. I keep telling myself, but I don't wanna let you know.